Okay, it is me again. Thank you for showing up here. If you are new here, my name is Bram. I talk about all things fashion, luxury, lifestyle, shopping, and travel. So if those are things that are interesting to you, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button and become a member of my growing YouTube family. Sorry, the sun is changing a little bit. Yeah, that would be incredible. And if you would like to hit the bell notifications so that you are notified when I upload videos, which at the moment is typically Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But you never know. You never know if there's a sneak one in there or if things change. And I would, who would want to miss all of the life and death conversations that we have over here, What else? Okay, I'm going to put my Instagram handle here just in case you have not already. Come follow me over there. Come follow me. I am attempting to do more outfit shots, things like that. We do some more behind the scenes stuff. We talk about like real life in real time over there. So I would love it if you would join me over there. Okay, so this is a continuance of the video that we did on Monday. We were talking about the pros and the cons between vintage and purchasing new, but I spoke forever. That video is like an hour, and I'm hoping that I can edit it down because it really didn't need to be an hour, but I talked a lot, as happens to me sometimes. So, I still have allergies because technically I'm filming this 3 seconds after I finished the last one. Yeah, so hopefully I'm sorry. Like I said, I still have allergies. I still did not take a Claritin because I have not moved from this seat since the last video. Okay, I think that's it in terms of introduction. Okay, so as you know, I'm going to talk about it again. Beautiful new office space. I am adding little pieces to the back there to make it cute, although I don't know. Does it look cheap, guys? I mean, it is cheap. It's Amazon Basics, but I think once it's filled in, it will be cuter. We'll just have to play it by ear. I'm trying to like decorate this place a little bit so it's not so sterile. Carol has her little corner. I will insert a little picture of her sleeping. I also need to get her a new bed because she's in her little puppy bed and she is like barely fitting. I'm thinking I'm gonna get her a new bed for here and just like her, like a bunch of little toys for her and bones and all that stuff to keep her busy when we are here for a few hours at a time. Okay, so anyway, like I said, I am adding to the background. So if any of you guys have any good ideas on what I can put back here that you think is in line with, like if you've been here before, you think is in line with the things that I like, I am all like ears. Send me links, all that stuff. I would love some ideas because I have quite a few boxes to fill up back there. Okay, let's finish this up. Obviously, I am like slightly delirious at this point because I have been talking nonstop. I don't even know what time it is. I don't even know what time it is because I film on my phone and I have zero idea what time it is. Okay, let's talk. Let's get into the cons. So if you saw my video on Monday, if you have not, go watch that first. I will link it below. So we talked about all of the pros and now we're going to talk about the cons. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to try to make this one short as an apology for the long one on Monday. All right, cons. So let's talk about the cons of the new in-store purchases, okay? So this was also a pro, right? So on the pros, I talked about the in-store experience, and it is also on my cons list. So the con would be in-store experience. Whereas we used to have these amazing experiences in store, it was part of like, you went, you bought yourself your very first classic Chanel flap, wallet on chain, never full, whatever. They didn't care back then. They treated everybody, in my humble opinion, they treated everybody with respect and gave everybody that like little piece of experience luxury that people were searching for. Ever since 2020, I feel like it's absolutely been downhill since then. I mentioned this in my last video, but I remember, for example, I was not a big client at Chanel in, I would say, like the early 2000s. And I remember going in there with my kids, maybe 2010, 11, 2010, 11. I don't know, maybe in that range. And I went in, and so that I could look around, they gave my son a coloring book with crayons and all of that. I wish I still had it. I have no idea where it is. Probably got thrown away years ago, but that stuck with me. Obviously, I remember it. You know, those were the things, in my opinion, that make luxury luxury. It makes the experience worth it. It just gives you like the warm and fuzzies. It makes Chanel, Louis Vuitton, or whoever, a place that you want to go spend time and spend money, right? And it's these little things that they can do. Now, they no longer do that. There's no more really, I haven't seen champagne being served in like a very, very long time. Sure, they give you water, but usually it's not even cold. Yeah, like I just don't, unless you're like a super VIC and they put you in the back room and they give you like hors d'oeuvres on your birthday or whatever. Like I've had really nice experiences with in store with Louis Vuitton specifically, like doing nice things for me because I like had relationships with the sales associates, like sending me flowers on my birthday, like, you know, all of the gifts that they used to give, or I guess they still do, but they used to be better, like for like the holidays, things like that. So it used to be really a fun experience because you knew that those houses were going to give back to you in some way. And it could be this small compared to what you were spending, but it made spending that money less painful, and you felt like it meant something because it was enjoyable for you. And I don't think that exists at the same level anymore. It definitely doesn't exist to everybody that walks in anymore. It definitely only exists to like the upper echelon of their customers. And yeah, I just think no wonder people are like fine to go directly to China at this point and purchase the same items because they like the item, they like the way that it looks. But who cares if the experience in store is crap? What is the difference for people who are only going to, are kind of like that aspirational customer who only are going to purchase maybe one bag, two bags, three bags their whole life? You know, maybe they just don't care. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's another conversation. But I don't believe that the luxury experience exists anymore in most stores, in most places, for most people. Okay, next one, number 2. Another con, and I said in my last video that we were going to talk about Hermes in like a whole other video, but I don't like the game at all. So yes, we know about the Hermes game. I had a moment where I was like, I'm going to play the game because I was moving on from, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of like you do certain, like you do Louis Vuitton long enough and you're like, okay, I'm ready for the next thing or whatever. And it is sort of a game just like in general. I don't like the Hermes game. I think it makes sense if you have an SA that you know is going to give you the items that you want, like you're like locked in. But when you're playing it with somebody who is just kind of an asshole, and for the most part, most of the SAs that I've had there I have not had warm and fuzzy feelings for. It's just never been like pleasurable for me personally, like at all. And so like if it's kind of like a sure thing for you, as I think some people do have sure things with their Hermes SA, for me, yeah, like whatever. But I just think in terms of like playing these games, I'd rather play the vintage game. Like I talked about this in the last video. I would rather play the game where I'm looking for the best deal or I'm looking for something that is like really hard to find, versus buying a whole bunch of crap that I don't really want, that I'm probably going to sell later anyway, just to hopefully be offered a bag that literally just went up another $1,000, you know? And everybody has coming and going, whether they're real or not, I don't know. And it's just, like, it's just so and I do love a Birkin. I do love a Birkin. I do love like exciting Birkins. Like I have the cargo Birkin. Like I do love certain things, but they're not that exciting. Like for me at least, to go through all of that. Like some of these videos that I see about the Hermes journey, like I know that like Purse on Fleek, I think, did one a few years ago about how she was just treated horribly, and the emotion that people attach to these things, I understand it, but like I'm not interested in it. You know what I mean? I'm not interested in getting that wound up. And no shade to her at all, because I think that it was like that situation was nasty, but I don't have any intention on getting that emotionally wound up and then not getting what I actually want. Like, yeah, no, I'm good. But it's also not just an Hermes game. Like it literally is also a Chanel game. It is also a Louis Vuitton game. Look at the game that they played. Look at the game Louis Vuitton played with the Murakami collection. Like that was a game. They're holding your money so that they can make interest on it. Stop it. Or that so that they can, I saw another video talking about how they could use it as for their shareholders, for their earnings or whatever report. And that makes sense. It also makes sense that they're making a shit ton of interest on the money that they're holding for the bags that they probably have no intent on even ever sending, because they oversold and they don't exist. And just the disaster. Also the fact that like you had to order, if you were I don't even know, because I didn't really keep up, but like, for example, I think that the Cherry Blossom collection, it didn't even matter if you were a VIC or whatever, you were going on the website with everybody else and it was sold out like in 3 seconds. And then you have the Murakami, where there was like different tiers of people who could order, and some people were able to order everything, and some people were able to order nothing, and some people were able to order everything and then resell and make money, which is a whole nother topic, right? And where does that leave people like me or you, maybe? I have been a really good client for a very long time. And even though it hasn't been in the last few years, I have definitely been a client of the brand. And I have definitely had my moments where I was first to pick certain things or whatever. And I didn't even attempt it because I wasn't interested in the mind games. I wasn't interested in giving them the money to maybe or maybe not get my item. I wasn't interested in them holding my money for, 6 months until they determined whether they had enough stock or whatever they were going to determine. I wasn't going to fight people to get these items, and so it's all a game. And I'm not going to play the game to have to spend tens of thousands of dollars. Like what are we doing? Not now. Like not in this climate, Yeah. So I'm not into the games anymore. Not anymore. Not those games, at least. All right. The next con. This goes hand in hand. The last two that I have on my list for the cons for new bags is the quality and the price. So obviously we know quality has gone down significantly over the last, I don't know, what do you think, guys? 10 years, 15 years? It's just progressively worse and worse and worse. And then the prices progressively go up and up and up. I don't think that I ever really noticed a price increase. Like yes and no. Like, yeah, you knew that the price increases were coming or whatever, but I didn't really feel them or get annoyed by them until 2020. So ever since then, quality every single year is kind of questionable. There's always going to be pieces that are amazing. There's always going to be pieces with quality issues. I know people talk about like the US factory versus France or Italy or whatever. I don't know if that's the case or not. I have no experience one way or the other with one factory versus another. I can't even remember the last time I had a USA bag, honestly. Maybe it was like 2017, a Damier Ebene Speedy B, I think. And I had no problems with that bag. So I don't know. But like, I think that we know prices keep going up. It is almost, it's like a slap in the face at this point. I just think like even more so than anything else, it's a big like FU from the brands where they know, stop it. They know we talk about this stuff online. I'm sure that they watch the YouTubes. I'm sure that they watch Instagram. I'm sure that they go to like Purse Forum and everywhere else that we talk about these things. And they keep doing it. They keep on doing it. So to me, it's a big FU. If there's something absolutely incredible that comes out, will I buy new in store? Yeah, probably. If I literally can't see, like, I'm like, I know this is going to be ridiculously overpriced on the pre-loved market at some point, and it is a better idea to get it now. But I also don't feel like I have the same like FOMO that I used to have about all these things. I think that it's getting played out to me. And the more you watch it, the more you realize that, like, listen, if you just wait 6 months, this stuff is going to be on the secondhand market. Some things will retain their value. Most things won't. Yeah. I just think that for me, the feeling that I used to get where I was like, oh my God, if I don't get it now, I'm never going to have it. Like just being so focused on vintage and pre-loved for the last few years, I would say that I don't have those feelings anymore for the simple fact that most things land on the pre-loved market and most things are same price to a little bit less expensive depending on what they are. You don't need to fight people to get things directly from Louis Vuitton or on drop day or whatever. Like, if we all come together and stop this madness, maybe they'll wake up and stop creating this bullshit. Maybe not, but maybe. Okay, vintage cons. Let's get into that. I personally don't think there's many, but let's talk about sometimes it's hard to find good condition items. So depending on what you're looking for, right? For example, I recently purchased the Cherry Speedy 25. This bag was $1,000 3 years ago. You couldn't give that bag away. You could give it away. You could also sell it for like $500 to $1,000 for many, many years. And then all of a sudden, obviously, it has gone up. That bag, I think for a lot of people was kind of a workhorse because it's very hard and very expensive to find one in good condition on the secondhand market. But there are definitely certain bags, and obviously as they get older, it's harder and harder to find good condition versions of whatever you want. But there are definitely certain bags that I think were more of like, certain bags were more showpieces for people. They didn't wear them a lot. And then certain bags obviously were more like workhorses. They wore them all the time. So, you know, the good news is that it's fun, I think, to hunt it down. But the bad news is that there are certain items I think that are getting progressively harder to find in good condition on the secondhand market, period. You know, whether it's for a good price or not, doesn't necessarily matter. But like, let's say that you wanted like the white Murakami collection, that first round where the interior was bright red, right? It is very hard to find one of those with no bleeding, for example, right? And that's all. Like they a lot of them have like a pink cast behind it, or they've turned yellow or whatever. So there's definitely, as items get older and older, it is harder and harder to find them in good condition. So I think that's one of those things when you find something, like for me, if there's something I'm looking for and it shows up in like excellent condition, it usually moves up on the list for me because I have a sort of like an ongoing list of things that I want. That are just things that I will at some point get my hands on. And some of them are, I don't know, like I have ones that I want more than others, of course. So I have things that are higher up on the list, but every once in a while, something incredible kind of like pops up. And I know that if I don't jump on it now in that condition, I'm probably going to have a rough time finding it later. So then that'll kind of move up in the line for me. But you just have to kind of watch it and know, I guess, what's the most important for you to get your hands on if you're like really into collecting these vintage items. Next one. Obviously, it's used. So if that's a con for you, then that's a con. For me, it's not. I'm not so worried about that. I have bought Preloved Jewelry before, but for some reason I have a much harder time with like Preloved Jewelry. I don't know. I've always sort of been like that. I always feel like certain like jewelry specifically, and I'm not sure why, holds like a little bit more like energy. So I know that a lot of people feel this way about like energy that items hold if they're owned by people who maybe were in a bad headspace or had negative energy around them or whatever. For whatever reason, that doesn't trickle down to bags for me. I do believe that with jewelry or things that you're going to wear all the time on your body. Do I believe it? I don't know. I can't say that I believe it, but I definitely think of it. I'm not really like, I'm not so much into that spiritual stuff, and I do believe that energy exists. I believe in that stuff, and this is a whole nother conversation. For me, a lot of times I choose to not purchase. Fashion jewelry is a different story, but like real jewelry, real metals, things like that, I usually choose to not purchase secondhand. Again, not to say that I have never, I have, but very few times. So some people, I've heard people say that about bags as well. I, again, don't really believe that one. Like, I don't think of it that way. So for me, it's not a con, but I can see how people would maybe think that or feel that, I guess. And so for them, that might be a con in terms of vintage. For me, it is not a con, and it is not something that would make me not purchase. Yeah, it's nothing that's going to put me off purchasing vintage, Okay, next one. Okay, so this is actually my last con on vintage. Certain items are priced at a premium, and I don't know why. I guess it goes with the market, right? As we were talking about, like, for example, right now, the Cherry Speedy is very expensive. The last one that I actually found, they were all over the place, but the last one that I actually saw was on Fashion File. It was in terrible condition, and it was $3,000. It was literally something that you could have bought for $400 a year ago. Now, that obviously is going in line with the trends and the collections that are dropping right now, new in store, right? So that's in line with just the way that the market works. However, there are a few bags that are always ridiculously priced on the secondhand market, and who knows why, honestly. The one that I can think of, the main one that I think of when I talk about this is I'll post a picture here, oh my God, this bag. What can I say about this bag? Okay, so like if you haven't been here before, I had this bag in 2014, I believe. I literally used it into the ground. It was falling apart, and I don't know where my head was. Instead of going to Chanel usually doesn't help very much, honestly, in terms of repairs. And also it wasn't leather, so a lot of times they don't do anything with non-leather. But I sold it and have ever since totally kicked myself, purchased one off of a Facebook group recently that did not go well. That you can go check out that video if you'd like to see what happened there. But that bag, oh God, I don't remember how much I paid, guys. It might have been in the 2000s or the 3000s. I'm not sure. I don't know. It was a very long time ago. I don't remember. But that bag literally goes for anywhere from like $9,000, I think, is like the bottom, and it can go up to, on average, I'm not talking about the crazy prices, 15, $14,000. I don't know why. It is a canvas backpack. It's absolutely beautiful. I own a Chanel graffiti backpack in the gold that came out a few years later, but same vibe, kind of like same canvas graffiti print backpack vibe. And that bag doesn't go for that ridiculousness on the secondhand market. So I'm not really sure what it was about that collection that has that bag at such a premium. I have no idea. There's also other bags, for example, like that Louis Vuitton heart. I have it. I showed it to you guys in my my collection, my entire collection video. It was the what was that collection? Oh my God, I'm blanking right now. I know the name, but I totally am forgetting. It was one with the cards and stuff. Oh my God. Oh God. Oh, whatever. You guys know. Here's the picture. That bag for, I don't know if it's, I don't think it's going for as much of a premium now, but like for years after that bag came out, for quite a few years, that bag like was $6,000, $5,000 on the secondhand market. Yeah, there's always going to be certain bags that just go for a ridiculous amount of money, whether it was that they were super limited or that maybe they're limited. Maybe they weren't limited when they first came out, but there's very few of them on the secondhand market. Maybe that could be something, but whatever it is, that is probably my biggest pet peeve on the vintage market, just in the vintage pre-loved market, is the fact that there are certain bags that for whatever reason just command these stupid prices. And that sucks, especially for like a vintage lover and collector. That totally sucks. The last thing that, and this is just off the top of my head, and I think that we should probably have a separate whole conversation about this one, but the last one, and I don't think this isn't so much vintage, but it's definitely pre-loved, kind of pre-loved, or after market, like resale sites, is the amount of people that purchase new from store, these hard to get collections, and then sell them for an absolute crazy premium on the secondhand market. And it's an item that has never been used, and they took away the opportunity for you to purchase directly from store, and they were greedy. And I have a whole thought process on that one. That could be a next video. That is what I'm going to do. But anyway, guys, that's all I have for you today. That would have been a very long video had I done it in I didn't think this topic was going to be such like a talkative one for me, but I guess everything might be. I think everything is a talkative one for me. Okay. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you are still here, I appreciate you more than you know. Please let me know your thoughts below. I would love to hear like what your thoughts are on the pros and cons of like vintage versus brand new in store. What would you rather shop for? What are you like more into? And I think that's it. So again, I truly appreciate you. Thank you for being here. If you have not already subscribed, I would love it if you would. It would mean absolutely the world to me. Every single subscriber, every single one of you, it always means the most to me. And I truly, truly appreciate it. Instagram handle, one more time, just in case you're not following me over there. Come follow me. Does that look crazy? Come follow me over there. Last but not least, no. Last but not least, I'm putting another video right here. So in case you haven't already seen it, come and watch that one. If you have some more time today, I would love you to see more of me talking about stuff. You guys are the best. And until next time, see you later.